a very important two questions that we can keep in mind. And those questions are always the why and the how. When we actually formulate our business and when we do anything in terms of business decision making, we've always think about why do we do this? And once we have an answer to it, then we wanted to know how we're going to do this. On the why part, on the certification process, we're going to unravel on the types of certification that there are out there, and you'll be surprised. You'll be like, wow. Second, okay, what they are, we're going to go through, and some of them a little bit more in details and explaining who they are and what they are. And third, where can you go and actually get these certifications? Also, the value of certifications. Why? The next, after we've tackled that, we're going to go into the how segment, where we're going to explore the marketplace, where there is a government and the corporations that you can actually find opportunities with the certification that you have, and also understanding what supplier diversity means. All of this that we're going to talk about does go ahead and will into a program called Supplier Diversity, which is the overarching goal of this entirety of the program. So we're going to go ahead and start with Maria and explaining where can we be certified. I'm sorry. We're going to go back. Types of certification first. That's very important. Sorry, I clicked it too fast, Maria. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. The following is a list of the different certifications right now in the state of Massachusetts. We have the Minority Business Enterprise, MBEs. We have the Women Business Enterprise, WBEs, the Portuguese Business Enterprise, PBEs, Veteran Business Enterprise, VOBs, Service Disabled, Veteran-Owned Business Enterprise, that's a mouthful. Then we have the Disability-Owned Business Enterprises, LGBT-Owned Business Enterprises, Disadvantaged Business Enterprises, Historically Underutilized Business Enterprises, and from disadvantaged all the way to economically disadvantaged women-owned, those are the federal certifications.
Okay, just to tackle a little bit on the minority business enterprises, all of in which those business entities are all 51% owned and managed and control of the businesses. Okay, so keep that in mind that the ownership are 51% owned and managed. The only differences for the hub zone is a territorial. So if you are residing, your business is residing in a hub zone area, and that goes into the SBA website, and you can type in hub zone, then it shows on the map, put in your zip code, and it will show exactly in the map that if you are in those displayed areas, in the geographical areas, that you are qualified to be in a hub zone business. Okay, all right. Where can you be certified?
You have the city of Boston, they have their own certification, as well as the state of Massachusetts through the Supply Diversity Office. You have the federal certification, as we explained before. And then there's the third-party certifiers as M&A SDC, WeBank, and NGLCC, to name a few. Third parties, for the most part, requires you to pay a fee. Going back to the city of Boston and the state of Massachusetts, if you're certified through the state of Massachusetts and you want to become certified through the city of Boston, once you're certified through the state, they have reciprocity with the city of Boston, and all you have to submit to become certified with the city of Boston is 2 pages and the letter of certification from the state, and you become certified with the city of Boston. We also added a list of the links if you're seeking more information. Again, the state certifying agency is the Supply Diversity Office, and there's the link. City of Boston is the Department of Economic Development. And if you're seeking to be DBE certified, which is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, it's Mass UCP, and that's the link. You can find all the information, including the application for Mass UCP on that link.
Okay.
So some of you will be wondering, those of you that are not certified, what are the advantages of becoming certified? Well, some of these advantages, once you become certified, you can use that as a tool, marketing tool. You establish credibility. You can use that certification part of your social media, put it on your website. Free business advertising. You get posted on Combis directory, vendor directory, Massport vendor directory, Supply Diversity business directory, DSBS, which is the Dynamic Small Business Directory, and obviously the third-party certified database if you become certified through one of those third-party certifiers. Also, there's opportunities through the city, state, and federal, as well as private corporations opportunities. There's training and mentoring resources once you obtain that certification. There are opportunities to participate on trade shows, educational events, and one-on-one matchmaking events. And you certainly can use your business as a platform. Mentoring events. I mean, the sky is the limit. The state used to put this huge, they still do. When I say used to, I separated from the state. I retired 2 years ago. Used to have this huge event down at Gillette Stadium. And there were hundreds and hundreds, and if not thousands of vendors attending this event. And there were so many business cards being passed around. At the end of the day, I used to carry these bags full of business cards of all the vendors that approach me. And so I still have some of the business cards with me.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things about the most important factor for the certified businesses is the one-on-one matchmaking event. For those of you who have never heard of what the one-on-one matchmaking event is, where you would have a chance to sit with the buyer. So whichever the corporations or the state agency, you get to meet for 15 minutes. Sometimes they are the decision makers, sometimes they are the supplier diversity professionals that are the forefront in making sure that the certifying businesses are, selected and selected of the few. So it's almost like, when you have a matchmaking and when you see an advertisement where you sit with them and then, you have that conversation and then you go next and then you sit with the other, it's almost very similar to that effect. And so, that's another way to build a relationship, for the certification, and you are privileged. And that's, once you're certified, you get into those type of events. You are, invited to becoming an exclusive invitations to some of those as well. And so that's absolutely a benefit and the advantage of being certified. Now, this is a very interesting and something that we absolutely adore.
This is another one of the advantages of being certified. I took this data from the annual report put together by the Supply Diversity Office. I included the link at the bottom of the graph in case you want to go and take a look at the entire report. It's a report done annually. And you can see that MBEs in the fiscal year 2018, this was the spending with the executive branch. This is just spending with the executive branch, $429 plus million of dollars, just with MBEs. With WBEs, you can see that figure was closer to $1 billion, $912 million. With veterans was $31 million plus. The small business purchasing program, as you can see, it's working. It's almost $200 million. Then you have the disabled business enterprise, over 6 million. And then you have the LGBT, $167 million. Does this program work, being certified? Absolutely. The numbers speaks for themselves.
And if you actually tally that all together, it surmounts to almost over $1.5 billion. So it means it works. This is the fun part.
You know, I throughout my life with the state, I always heard vendors that would be certified for a couple of years, and they would come to me, well, Maria, this certification is not working for me. I'm not getting anything out of it. And I will ask them questions like, have you attended any networking event? No. Have you attended any of the workshops that the state puts together? Well, no. What have you done? Do you have a website? No. So how does the buyer know that you're out there? And they're looking, they have this blank look. And I'm like, listen, you have to sit down and really, really have to think, how do you want people to know that you're out there? Let's take a look at Combis. Let me see how your profile reads. And it was funny because it would only read 1 or 2 sentences. And I would say, well, this is the reason why you're not getting any leads. You only have that you do consulting. Well, what kind of consulting are you doing? You have to really explain yourself. You are into flooring. Well, what kind of flooring do you do? Are you into carpeting, wood, cement? What kind of flooring? So once I will have that discussion with them, now they will have 3 paragraphs describing all the different products they would selling or they were doing. Then I will explain to them that you have to find your brand. You have to find a gimmick. For example, and Andie knows this person I'm going to talk about, and you guys can Google it. She has a very good company. The name of the company is US Co-Products. Her gimmick is, all you have to know is that she wears a green jacket. The minute you see the green jacket, everybody knows Doreen. She has everywhere for years, 17 years that I know this lady. She wears a green jacket. So if you don't remember her name, just say the lady with the green jacket. Everybody knows lady with the green jacket is US Co-Products. Okay, she is on federal contracts. She is on statewide contracts. The lady with the green jacket, and that's her brand, green jacket. Then we have another lady that her name is Joni Lee from Back Bay Staffing. She always made it a point that whenever somebody needed a sponsoring for any event, she will raise her hand. I can sponsor that event. I can buy the coffee, or I can buy the pastries, or if, whenever I was doing my workshops for vendors, she would say, I can come in and tell them how I got into statewide contract. So I could talk to the vendors until I was blue on the face, but I was one of the state, personnel. Now you bring one of their own, and she will tell the story from her point of view as a vendor. And now you have 12 heads listening, enthralled with what this other vendor was telling them. So find your niche. Find that will get everybody else to pay attention to you. In my case now, as a business owner myself, every morning I will publish through Hootsuite. I publish articles through LinkedIn and through Twitter every morning, 7 days a week. I will publish something that relates to small business owners, something that we can, find interesting, or something that we can learn from. So that's how you can stand apart from the competition. Mm-hmm. Nobody from the state is going to come and knock at the door and say, here's a contract. You really have to go and really work hard for yourselves. You think you have a unique product, so does the 3,000 other vendors that are certified. So put yourself out there, networking, take workshops. There's a lot of workshops online, especially now. It has been very hard with the coronavirus thing and not being able to do the networking, but we still be able to do the Zoom, and you're still able to call and contact and reach out. Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the key proponent points that, Maria really pointed out was, no matter, what type of business, whether you're certified or not, always, the number one goal is to build that relationship with the critical decision maker, right? Whether you're in a hiring role or you're in a business making decision role, whoever it is, make that connection. And there's a saying that, there's a scientific evidence where if you want to meet with someone, you always have only 7 different connections to go through until you meet someone. And so, build that network, build that connections. Certification is just a start. And it's just a great way to leverage your business, saying that, yes, here's a proof. But whatever we need to do from a business standpoint besides the proof is something that we still need to think about, whether it's strategically or innovatively. We still need to come up with ways on how we conduct our business beyond the certification standpoint. Thank you. All right, so the next segment is about the Small Business Purchasing Program.
So as you saw on the chart that I show you, there's almost $200 million spent with Small Business Purchasing Program participants. The program was established in 2010 because Massachusetts recognized the importance of the small businesses. And there are a set of requirements that you have to meet in order to become a participant. The principal place of business have to be Massachusetts. You have to be in business for at least a year. You have to have a total of 50 or less full-time employees. You have to have a gross revenue of $15 million according to DOR. And nonprofits now qualify as well to participate in the program. And for those, the nonprofits, I included the link so you guys can go in and check it out. Next slide, Andy, please. So again, as in anything in life, there is no guarantees that you becoming a participant of the SBPP means that you will get a contract. However, once you meet all these requirements, there is a likelihood that you will be able to participate in the contracting. There is a, this is for non-construction only, it's for goods and services, and the value of the contract is less or equal to $150,000. They're listed, all these contracts are listed on Combis. This is why it's important that if you want to become a participant, you go and register on Combis. When you register on Combis, there's a section that asks you, do you want to become a participant of SBPP? Do yourself a favor and go through the process of filling out all those screens. There is a help desk in case you get stuck. There's a number, they do call you right away and they do walk you through it. There's a spending benchmark with the executive departments in the state of Massachusetts, which is 3.3. And that was the number you saw, that almost $200 million. That comes from that set benchmark of 3.3. And again, business that are registered on Combis that qualified under the requirements will become eligible to be SBPP participants.
Okay. All right. So all of these programs and the certifying party could be all rolled in to an overarching title, what's called a supplier diversity. This is a program in which the corporations and the government had put in place to ensure that the certified of those types of certified businesses has an opportunity to do business with. One of the things about the supplier diversity program, so from the corporation standpoint or from the agencies or from the federal government, they all have a diversity goal spent. So one of the things that when you approach the corporations, one of the things you could actually say is, do you have a supplier diversity program? And if they say yes, you automatically know, okay, so they are one of those proponent companies that would want to talk with all these different certifying parties. Now, not all corporations are going to be utilizing all of those 10 plus businesses. They're going to be selective depending on the needs of their industry. So some are more robust, some are just, on a small business end, because it doesn't have a size. Again, the certification has not to do with the size. The certification has to do with the ownership. Remember that. So the goal spend is there. Another interesting factor about a supplier diversity program is that they have what's called a supplier portal. We've all actually gone through previous slides that there is all these different databases, right? We just went bum, 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 all these different databases. Well, guess what? The corporations in their supplier diversity program, they have their databases as well. So if you wanted to do business, not just with the government, but hey, I want to do business with some of the corporations, okay? Type in supplier diversity within their website, see what populates. And most of the time, if they have a supplier diversity program, they do have a database. It is their best interest that you wanted to register and also put in what are you certified with. And the more you're certified with, the more likely you'll be called. Another goals that they have in place for those corporations and the governments is that they have all these networking and events throughout the year. So once you're certified, okay, you want to make sure that you are plugged in, sign up, even though you're not going, you must sign up, know what are out there, receive those, and there's an event or a networking, there's all these trade shows. Sometimes you have to pay the price to go and meet with these individuals. But that's what the supplier diversity program entails. So if there's corporations out there that does not have a supplier diversity program, it wants to establish one, that's what we do. We as an M&A supplier diversity consultants can also build and help you through a roadmap to actually establish one. Now, one of the things that we wanted to keep in mind of how does these supplier diversity works, and it's almost like a cascading system. So when you look into our presentation slides, you'll see on the very top, there's a little box that says governments and corporations, right? They're gonna send out a bid. So when they send out a bid, those that have a supplier diversity program, let's say $130 million, I'm sending out a bid, all right? So whoever the winner is on the first round is prime contractors, or they would call it the tier 1 spend in the sourcing realm. What they do is it cascades down and saying, hey, part of this 130 million, you need to spend 25% to all these different categories of business, and it has to be done on an annual basis. I want that report by the end of the year, the fiscal year. So what does the prime contractor do? They have to establish a supplier diversity program, and they're trying to go ahead and get a subcontractor, and that goes as tier 2. Tier 2 goes to tier 3, and sometimes we've seen cases where it goes all the way down to tier 4. And what they do is all those numbers eventually are reported to the corporations and saying, hey, by this term of contract, this is how much spent that we have done. So that's part of the goal and the process in which, and it's a mission for those corporations and the government to actually establish one of these supplier diversity programs. And it ever so makes sense that, in a diverse, and they're saying that by 2050, United States is, the majority and the minority are becoming almost so much even, because there is so much growing of the diverse community at this time. But again, we boil down to build a relationship. We can't stress enough about that. All right, so let's take a look at some of the marketplace. We've probably took the horn from this presentation from a get-go till now saying, come buys. So make sure at the end of the presentation you would go to come buys and register your business if you are certified. Even though you're not certified, you still want to register as in the come buys. You wanted to receive what is out there. You don't have to participate, but you want to know, okay? Federal government. Anyone who wants to do business with federal government must make sure that you have a SAM registration. It's almost like Dun and Bradstreet number, all right? Almost like a social security number, a federal ID number, all right? It's called System and Awards Management, all right? So if any of the certification parties that wants to do within the federal government certifying, you also have to establish the SAM registration with that. There are two areas and two websites that you can go to. It's grants.gov. There are some opportunities, a lot of opportunities that are posted on a daily basis, and beta.sam.gov. Those are some of the federal contracts that are out there nowadays, from a Department of Defense to educational, all of the federal contracting or the bidding opportunities are out there. And the next we wanted to introduce is the Minority Business Development Agency. I don't know how many of you have heard of this agency, but just wanted to say that this agency was established back in 1969 by President Nixon, and it's really to foster, to help on the minority business end. Maria and I had an opportunity, we had to work together when Maria was at the state, and I actually worked for a nonprofit on the third certifying basis company. And we were able to put an MBDA grant together, and we've actually opened up a business center here in Boston. This was way back in the Patrick's administration days. And so what this department do, or these business centers that are located across the nation, is to help those minority businesses that are in a certain criteria to actually help them grow. There are some businesses that are happy with what they're earning, 5 million, and I'm complacent, I'm okay, I'm happy with that. But what MBDA looks into is they wanted to seek someone who's very hungry. So I want my business of a 5 million to grow into 10 million. They would go and find in the MBDA if you're a minority business, and they will help you thruster for your next stages and up. And this was also targeted for the global. So if you're opening your doors and your businesses to the global end, MBDA is the place to go to. City and town. One of the best ways to find procurement, you're kind of, where can I go? Where my city? All right, the best way, Google search, write your town, write in procurement. All right, Taunton, City of Taunton procurement. It comes up, it'll be a list of all of the bidding contracts that are out there that are outlined as well. All right, so these are some of the government places that you can go to, and I'm sure there's pretty much more. Here's the corporate marketplace. Now, these are all of the sites that these companies have established as supplier diversity. They all have their own definition, but it all boils down to really helping the economic engine of this. Now, we've just named a few of that we search. I wish we had a bigger presentation slides, because my former role was, I had a 250 corporations that actually has a supplier diversity and are robustly working with all of the certifying business. So Staples, TJX, Retail Space, Raytheon, recently purchased by UTC, right? They have the most robust spaces. They're aerospace and defense. They have a good supplier diversity program. General Dynamics, submarine makers, they have a good, excellent supplier diversity program. Constantly looking for different types of businesses. Veterans, hub zones, socially disadvantaged businesses, they're constantly looking for them. Harvard University, Boston University, Northeastern University, Emerson College, MIT, all these other universities, believe it or not, they have a supplier diversity program. Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, financial institutions. Not only they only collect money, they have to spend money. So these avenues of these large financial institutions have a really robust supplier diversity program. Eastern Bank is actually one of those that are participatory in the state of Massachusetts. Believe it or not, health insurance companies too. Partners Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, and Tufts Health Plan. All right, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, are all of those which are very robust in looking and trying to find certifying vendors. Another thing that would probably eliminate is the sports area. And when I was working for the NMSDC affiliate, the one of the most robust sports arena was over at the Major League Baseball. They have a robust supplier diversity program, and believe it or not, Red Sox at the time actually reached out and wanted to establish a supplier diversity program. And I believe by now they have a really great program for those certified parties to also approach to. All right, so these are the corporate marketplace. So you've seen the government marketplace, woo, corporate marketplace, getting busy there. So next with the collaborators, Maria, if you wanted to shine in on the collaborators.
Yes, these are the businesses, certified businesses that we collaborate with day in and day out. They offer different fields. For example, Back-Based Staffing Group, led by Ms. Johnny Lee Rossi. They do staffing, professional staffing. If you're in the need of any professional staffing, temporary professional staffing, this is the agency to do so. It's about time logistic. They deal with truckings and removing, what is it called? Oh my God. Of course, now it's failing me, but they do a lot of removal of debris, construction debris. Jusu CPA out of Randolph, they are CPA, in case you're looking for accountant, CPA. Principal Fulfillment, she does a lot of resume writing, your LinkedIn profile. If you need any updating, this will be the person to do it. And Vernon's, they are in the IT cybersecurity industries. So we deal with these certified businesses. We collaborate day in and day out.
Mm-hmm. And we're reaching out to more businesses. You know, we help you, help us, you know, a type of join in hand at this time, especially around this time of pandemic. And so if you are certified and you wanted to explore more options, you know, we can build this together. All right, the most important information. All right, here's our phone numbers. And if you have any questions or separate questions, you know, you can certainly go ahead and reach out to us via gmail.com email, and we'll get back to you relatively quickly. So what questions do we have for the audience at this time? Okay, so no questions mean we understood it all. I know what to do, and we're gonna go run. Run as fast as you can.
Awesome.
So I've been chipping away on this for years, and I had mentioned before the meeting the SBPP. So I guess that's. So it seems like if you can check the box, you should probably check the box for as many as you can. And it sounds like, you know, there's some. So these systems, unfortunately, I think are probably the shortcoming for smaller businesses that, you know, if you go to the SAM database, for instance, with the federal government, I mean, that is such a painful process. And, you know, I've been registered with the state for a while now on the veteran side of the fence. And I try to log into Combis and try to make sense out of it. And since they did their upgrade, it's like everything's lost for me, at least. So I guess my question is, it sounded like you mentioned that there was a help desk for the OSD or at least for the Combis application.
There is.
That's probably the first place I should go to.
And I'm telling you, they're absolutely wonderful. You can send them an email or you can call them, but I assure you that if you send them an email, they will contact you immediately. Let them know what the issue is, and they will call you. They will call you or they will email you back. So they will contact you, you know, whichever way works best for you. And whatever the issue is, they walk through walk through it with you until it's resolved.
Yeah, so that was what prompted me to apply for the SBPP program yesterday, was the notification that I received for the Taunton Housing Authority, which I'm interested in because I could probably heave a rock and hit their building from here. And when I logged into Combis, all of a sudden it looked different, and the instructions they had in the email didn't kind of match up with what I was seeing on the screen. So now I'm really confused, and I started tripping through it, and I fell into the application for the SBPP. I was like, well, since I'm here, I might as well try. So I still have that outstanding item that I don't know what I'm looking at here, and I don't know how to use the app, but I still found something that I could, punch the ticket for yesterday. But it's still, when I followed the instructions that they had in the email, I couldn't get where they were going. And I don't know if that's just because the email instructions aren't lined up with the new website, or whether there's something broken with my account. So I'll reach out to them.
Yes, do that. That would be great.
Because you've probably, if you have been from a Combi, Maria, is there a way, I think there's a way that you could revisit your profile, right? From a Combi standpoint, and might want to make sure that the listing of what the services are not, Maria, help me if I'm wrong, but it has to be in keywords, not in sentences. So you don't need the is, the and what. It's just the keywords, and those are the ones that would capture for those bidding contracts that comes in and will shoot it to your desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think he's having an issue right now logging in to go in and take a look at that. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I was having a hard time finding.
Yeah.
So they said, when you log in the upper right-hand corner, go to the settings and then do search.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go in and I log in and I go to settings, I don't have a search option. So I was kind of dead in the water there. So, and the whole interface has kind of changed. So I need to play around in here a little bit more, but certainly it didn't quite line up. So I will reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, John, do you check and see if you also listed a Massport as well?
What? I'm sorry.
Massport.
Massport? I don't think I'm listed for Massport.
Well, because if you're certified as a VBE with the state, and you're now on Combis, the systems communicate with the system in Massport. So there's a way, I will send you a link. I have your email address. I'm going to send you the link so you can go and find out if you are registered with Massport. And if you're not, you have the ability to register with them, so you will not miss any opportunities with Massport.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out all of this, and like on one of the like home pages, for instance, it says maintain organization information. And when I go in there for the general information, it looks like there's an opportunity to add attachments or forms, and there's like no context. So I don't know what they're looking for attachments or forms. I have no idea. Maybe
yeah, John, you want to straighten that out, because if you're looking to submit a bid for the Taunton housing procurement, you need to straighten that out, because that's the only way you're going to be able to submit that bid.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, through Combis,
yes.
Whatever comes out from Combis, you have to submit it.
The sooner you call the help desk, the sooner you get that rectified.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Getting the login information correct, yeah.
Yes.
I can log in, like I said, but boy, I log in and I don't know what I'm looking at, so.
The other good thing about OSD is, believe it or not, they have wonderful webinars on YouTube, and they walk you through step by step by step on even to upload all these documentations to submit any bids. They walk you through the webinars on YouTube.
I'll do that because it looks like I just found the user guide. So I'll trip through this, and I'll go back out to the supplier diversity office and check out their videos, because I know they had some excellent ones before, and it's just ever since they changed the system, now I'm lost.
So one of the tricking points of also, here's another pointer. for the Taunton housing, for the bid, was there a bid number that you saw?
Yes, actually.
Okay. So
have
when you find that bidding number, there should be a last 5 numbers, 5-digit numbers, whether it starts with 5. It should be 5, or maybe I went to 6 now.
62320.
Okay, so if it starts with a 6, once you actually log in, and there's probably 3 windows, and there's an open close bids, and there is a search current open bid. So when you click on open bids, you're going to be like, how am I going to search this particular one? And it's actually a numerical order of the last 5-digit of the bid. So if it starts with number 6 and the next number, so try to look for that, and then boom, you would open it, and that's where all the information of that RFR is going to pertain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Do need to study a little bit on that. It's not an easy Google task.
Oh, you know, and I pride myself in being fairly technical, but yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Not very user friendly. Yeah. Yep. All righty.
Cool.
Awesome. Any questions from Rashad?
Think he is, I don't know if he was driving or not.
Oh,
Sorry. No, I'm actually sitting down. I'm doing like multiple things. Yeah, I have a couple questions. I love to be a part of this. Everything sounds pretty interesting in my part. I was just browsing the website just now.
are you certified, Rashad?
Certified under,
As an MBE through the state?
yes.
Okay, all right. Have you had any opportunities? Are you on any, have you applied for any contracts with the state or municipalities?
So I used to be a vendor. I don't know if I used to be a vendor with the state.
Oh, okay. So, okay. All right. So you were on a statewide contract. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
So I'm very familiar with this, but there was a lot of information thrown out at once. So I would love to actually chat with one of you after the call's over, if that's okay.
Oh, that's wonderful. Our number is right there. So
I did not move our slides.
I just screenshotted it, so I have it. I guess right after the call, if any one of you are free, I would love to chat.
Well,
Okay.
we can do a conference call too. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Great. This was awesome. It is a lot of information.
it is a lot of information.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess with that, I'll go ahead and end this, and I'll send out the webinar too. I can edit it, so all the conversation I can chop too.
Okay. Well, thank you, Christine, and thank you, John and Rashad, and thank you, Andy. This was great. It was good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for everything.
Very
All
helpful.
right.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
All right. We'll see you later.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.